mindset. A place where you can let your mind drift, while the mysteries of the world unfold softly in the background. Tonight, we explore a story whispered across decades. One you've likely heard, but never like. The so-called Men in Black. Not the ones in movies, but the real ones. The ones who arrive unannounced, speak without blinking, and seem to know things they shouldn't. So if you're ready, pull the blanket closer, dim the lights, and let's sink into a story that feels too strange to be fiction, and too consistent to ignore the first whispers. The legend begins in the late 1940s, just after World War II, just as the skies above America started to fill with things we couldn't explain. In 1947, a man named Harold Dole claimed to witness 6 flying discs over Puget Sound, Washington. One of them malfunctioned and rained hot metal onto his boat, killing his dog and injuring his son. The next day, Dole said he was visited by a man in a black suit who warned him never to speak of the incident again. He was told calmly, quietly, that if he valued his life, he would forget everything he saw. No badge, no name, just a silent stare, and a threat that didn't need to be loud. It was the first known sighting of what we now call the Men in Black. Who are they? Some say they're government agents, a secret branch even higher than the CIA. Others believe they aren't human at all. Witnesses often describe them as pale, emotionless, and strangely identical. Their movements are too stiff. Their speech feels off. They knock on doors before people report sightings, not after. A man in Pennsylvania described being visited after filming a glowing object in his backyard. He said the man in black never blinked and repeated his exact thoughts before he could speak them. Another woman said one of them appeared in her hotel lobby the night after she gave an interview about a UFO sighting. The man smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. Are they suppressing the truth, protecting the public, or something stranger? Observers assigned to monitor moments when humans get too close to whatever's out there. Strange visits and documented cases. John Keel, the author of the Mothman Prophecies, wrote extensively about the Men in Black in the 1960s and 70s. He described repeated incidents in which UFO witnesses were harassed by men in dark suits, men who drove outdated cars, wore unnatural makeup, and seemed ... programmed. In one famous case, a man named Dr. Herbert Hopkins received a visit from ANMIB after agreeing to consult on a UFO case. The man arrived in a black car, wore gloves even indoors, and had lips so red they seemed painted on. He spoke in flat, robotic sentences and said Hopkins must destroy the evidence immediately. As calmly as he arrived, the man left, and Hopkins never worked on a UFO case again. Asterisk, they vanish and reappear. Asterisk, here's where it gets stranger. Many people who encounter these men report that no one else remembers them. Hotel staff who swear no such guest checked in. Security cameras that fail during their arrival. Audio recorders that pick up static and nothing else. And then there are the vanishes. Reports of men in black who walk down an alley and never reach the other end. Witnesses say they fade, dissolve, or blink out. One airport worker in Alaska said to MIB visited his office in 2009. He offered them water. They refused. When he looked away, even for a second, they were gone. No sound, no exit, just gone. Asterisk. Are the men in black here to protect us, or to protect something else? Maybe they were once human. Maybe they're time travelers. Maybe they're something from elsewhere, mimicking what we expect authority to look like. Their silence is louder than words. Every time someone gets too close to a UFO encounter, a piece of government hardware, or unexplainable phenomena, they arrive not to explain, not to punish, but to erase. Sometimes a visit, sometimes a warning, sometimes a feeling. So if you've ever seen a light in the sky you couldn't explain, and you start getting calls with no one on the line, maybe they've already found you. Asterisk, what if they aren't real in the way we think, but real in a different sense? A psychological shadow that appears when curiosity reaches too far. A modern myth fed by fear and made real by belief, yet the stories continue. From Brazil to Belgium, from gas station clerks to military pilots, different places, different decades, but always the same men, the same look, the same chill. One retired colonel once said, "They appear where truth bends the most, where the line between the known and the unexplainable begins to blur." So maybe it's not about who they are, maybe it's about what they represent. Boundaries, warnings, and reminders that some doors should remain closed. Asterisk, if the men in black come, they won't knock twice. They won't need to, because by the time you see them, they already know what you've seen. Sleep deeply tonight, and if your dreams feel strange, remember, it's probably just your imagination. Probably. Asterisk, subscribe for more dark mysteries and calm truths, where facts feel like fiction and sleep meets the strange.